Hello and welcome to the June 2023 Integration Down Under. We have, let's go through the slides. So we've got our organizers. We've got Martin from Perth, Dan from Brisbane, Mick from Sydney, Wagner from Auckland, and myself from Melbourne. And let's see, tonight we have Sandro talking about a walk in the park with the new Logic App Data Mapper. So I'm going to turn it over to Sandro now, and let's bring your screen up. Welcome, Sandro.
Thank you for having me, Bill. Yes, my name is Sandro Pereira. It's been a long time since I'm not here in Integration Down Under. I did some sessions in the past, but it was too many years ago. So I work as an enterprise integrator at DevScope. I'm the head of the integration team, and I'm being an Azure MVP for the last 11. I guess this year is going to be the 12 years. So you have my contacts there, my email, my LinkedIn, Twitter, and so on. Feel free to reach me out if you have any questions, doubts later on. I'm glad to help everyone. I'm also a trainer, instructor about trainings about BizTalk and Azure Logic Apps, all of these enterprise integration with Microsoft. So if you have needs for that, I can gladly help you also. And this was kind of me talking in Portugal 10 years ago with mappings in that time in BizTalk mappers. And that led for me to create a free book about mapping. That was a 400 pages about mapping, transformations, XSLT. And I end up describing 12 patterns that we normally need apply in our transformations in the enterprise integration scenario. That was for the BizTalk mappers, but they are still valid for any kind of technology. It doesn't matter if it's BizTalk or Logic App, you will find the same patterns in the transformation, because we are transforming a message to a different message. So the pattern will still be valid for Logic Apps and the new data mapper. And these patterns was about, well, the basics one, so direct translation. So we take a field from the source system and we will map without any transformation to a different field in the destination, from the source to the destination message. It can be the same name, different name. Sometimes it's a different structure, but the value that is present on the source is going directly to the destination. Now, the second one, we take a value from the field in the source system, and we manipulate that value, and we end up mapping to a different field on the destination. So, for example, converting a date-time format to a different date-time format, because in different systems, different countries have different ways to present the data. Transforming a date of birth in age of the people, of a certain person. So we are actually transforming that into a different value. One of the common is concatenation. We kind of concatenate two fields in a single field, like first name, last name, and put in a full name. That's the translation. We are manipulating that and put in another field. Another pattern is content enricher pattern. So in this case, we add more data in the destination that doesn't exist in the source system. Okay, We are going to fetch that to a database, or simple having a process date. So it's quite normal to have a timestamp saying this message was processed at this time and day. So we can kind of go and fetch the date time now. That's it. Okay, but it doesn't exist on the source system. Then we go for more advanced scenarios, more advanced patterns. Aggregator pattern is quite normal, and we see that a lot in the old days in BizTalk, that we receive a message from the source system. We then do a call to an internal system or a partner, some other system, to fetch more data. And based off on this information, we join the two messages and grab specific data from message 1 and message 2 and generate the destination message. So we have two input message, and then we go to a single message on the destination. We are aggregating information. We also have the content filter pattern. So we receive a lot of information on the source system. We don't need that amount of information to the destination system. So we are going to grab specific data that we need and create the destination file. The splitter pattern is also one that sometimes not that common, but it's possible to do in BizTalk. So we have a source message and we need to generate two different messages. Well, of course, we can apply two maps. Okay? One mapping the source schema to destination A, and another map, source schema to destination B. But in BizTalk, we actually can do a single map creating two different outputs. As the same of the aggregator pattern. So instead of having two incoming source message, we'll have two outcoming destination message. Okay, and then we can very common to see groupings operations where we have recurrence records that we need to loop. And group all of them by destination, by name, well, depending on the criteria that we want to group the message and combine them, join them kind of in a different order. And in some cases also sorting that, saying that I want to kind of go to A to Z in a short way. Sorting way. So some of these, sometimes we have these kind of requirements. Okay, we don't see that often, gladly, but sometimes we need that. Of course, one of the things that happens a lot is the conditional pattern. Then we have a condition saying, for example, a basic one: if the source schema exists, I'm going to map to the destination schema. Otherwise, I'm not going to create that field on the destination schema. Okay, or if this is equal to that, then I'm going to map this value. Otherwise, I'm going to map another value. So we see that a lot. Of course, in a real mapping requirement, we see multiple patterns appear inside the transformation. Okay, that's kind of dividing all of these small needs and transform it in a pattern. And then we have, again, loopings. We have canonical data model pattern that we see a lot of implementations with canonical schemas where we have different messages coming from the partners. Let's say an order, partner A as order type and partner B as a different order type. So they are sending the same message, is an order, but different formats. For example, one is sending JSON, another is sending XML, another is doing another type of XML. but internally we only have one process to deal with orders for multiple partners. So what we normally do is create a canonical schema, and we are going to map all these different incoming messages into that canonical schema. And then one pattern that sometimes appears is where at some point we have in our schema record that is a name value. So we have a name, a value, and that's a recurring record. So kind of leaving that schema open for new fields to appear, and instead of us to kind of add and changing always the schema, we just map to that name value schema. And this can be done easily with XSLT mappings and transformations. So kind of this 12 mapper appears a lot in our daily transformation needs. So, and that's all of these 12 patterns are described in the book. Now, Microsoft released a new data mapper. Well, I'm not finding any excuse for you, let me just, for you not to complain, and I'm not finding an excuse for Microsoft, but, oh, sorry, but that mapper is in preview. There may be bugs, there'll be something that may not work, and Microsoft do want your feedback, and that's your opportunity. So I've been trying this data mapper since the private preview, and I'm actually kind of working a little bit close with Microsoft on that, because all of my experience with the transformations. And I can tell you that in the beginning, I probably gave up to try the data mapper, but then I say, okay, that's my opportunity to kind of improve and for us to have a good data, a new mapper transformation. And I can say that in the first week of private preview, I opened more than 60 bugs, new features, requirements, and improvements that in my idea, should have in the new data mapper. And all of them are being taken in consideration, and they are in the roadmap. Some of them are already implemented, are already solved. Some of them are in the roadmap to be deployed. It's taking more time. So try it with an open mind, and I have the link there of the GitHub for you to open issues. So if you find any issue, if you find any situation that doesn't fit, open a ticket, and they will take care of that, and they will take in consideration. So saying that, I don't have any more slides, so let's try to do the demonstration. I hope my data mapper will work. Still, again, private preview, public preview, so we never know sometimes. Before I show the data mapper, let me bring my Visual Studio to the screen. And this is not the new data mapper. Sorry. So this was the look and feel is the old, and I see the old, it's not old, it's quite updated yet, the BizTalk mapper. The BizTalk mapper looks like this, okay? You have the source schema on the left. you have the target schema, the destination schema on the right, and in the middle you have our grid pages, our transformation area. All the links that you see there are mapping, transformation rule, and all these squares that you see in the middle are called functoids. And the functoids are kind of functions that do a small transformation to the message. So this one is a concatenation. So double click and you see that I have last name and first name. In the middle, I have a comma to separate the last name with the first name. In this, I have a functoid, a scripting functoid. In this case, the scripting functoid has a C# code, and that C# code basically translates my date of birth to my age. And here you see kind of a direct link, direct transformation. So I'm mapping the address to the address of the destination. And this is a condition on the zip code. So basically says that if exists a zip code, then I'm going to map the value of the zip code into the zip code of the destination. And this I'm going kind of to add more information that doesn't exist on the source schema to the destination. This is the data time now. And I have another page grid for me to kind of it's the page grid is just a way for me to organize my map, so I don't have all the links, all the confusion in a single page. So in this case, I'm organizing the map in different areas. But well, when I compile, this is going to be an XSLT that is going to be generated. And I'm doing here a phone call calculations about if it starts with my international code, that is +351, because I'm in Portugal, then I'm doing the total of cost of my phone calls to my total national. Otherwise, that they are international calls, and I'm doing the international calls, okay? And if I go to the properties of my map, you see that I can specify some input message, and I have one here. And based on that, I can go to my map and say, test the map. And this is going to produce me, this is the inbound link, and this is the outbound. So if I click on the outbound, and you see that I have my transformation here based on the inbound that I received. So I have the full name, I have the age, I have the address and the zip code, process date, and total of national calls and international calls, okay? Actually, this is not, the look and feel is the BizTalk mapper, but this is not the BizTalk mapper. This is the Logic App consumption mapper. So they took the BizTalk mapper as is and produce a plugin for an extension for Visual Studio 2019. And this is the Logic App consumption map. This is going to generate an XSLT we can use inside our Logic App. We need to put this map in an integration account, okay? After we generate the XSLT, we grab the XSLT and we put on the integration account, and we can start using these transformations requirements and the schemas also in the Logic App consumption, also in the standard if you want. And that was the way to do that, and still is the way for Logic App consumption. Now, they create a new data mapper, but the new data mapper is not available for logic apps consumption is only for, at least for now, for logic app standard, okay? In logic app standard, you know that since a few times, they have the availability to have schemas and maps in the integration in the logic app standard without the need of integration account. Okay, and when they released this functionality, we didn't have the new data mapper. We have to generate the XSLT with the mapper that I showed a few minutes ago, and put in this folder the maps folder, and then we can use in our logic app standard the maps without the need of an integration account. But we didn't have this new editor, okay? So Microsoft decided to create a new data mapper that I'm going to show you now, I hope. Okay? So you need to install an extension that is logic app Azure Logic App Data Mapper. Okay, you install this extension and you have the new data mapper installed in your Visual Studio Code, and we can start creating our maps. Of course, you need the Logic App standard and so on and so forth. It has to use with that. So when we go here to our Azure, we see a new tab called Data Mapper. I have already my project open. You see my Logic App standards, my workflow here. And now I can say create a new data mapper or load an existing data mapper. Let's say create a new data mapper. And I'm going to give a name. You see that is going to present here a text box, and I'm going to put a name here saying that integration under, and enter. And this suppose is going to create my data mapper. And for some reason, I love you. For some reason, it's not appearing. Let me see that again. Preview. Why the data mapper is not showing? And with me, let's kind of restart this. Close this one. We don't need it anymore.
While you're doing that, there's a question from Mark. Do you have to start from schemas, or can you start from an existing XSLT or liquid?
I need to start with the schemas. So I cannot kind of import the XSLT, and that will, it's kind of the map, the BizTalk map or the Logic App map. We never start with the liquid or with the XSLT. We start with the mapper and generate the code, not vice versa.
Yep.
And this data mapper is XSL3 3.0. Doesn't generate liquid, but supports XML to JSON, JSON to JSON, what all the formats are going to be support. So we can format from an XML schema to a JSON schema, JSON to JSON, XML to XML, whatever, okay? But It's going to generate XSL 3.0 and XPath 3.0, I guess.
Yep. Okay.
Now it's loading. I don't know why it's so slow today.
It's early morning. It's early morning your time. It's still trying to wake up.
Still 8 and 26. I have to remind myself to the previews. I need to record videos in to be in a safe place. Come on, man. I'm going to annoy Kent today.
Poor Kent.
Okay. Let me find here. And let me find a plan B for now. Problem is I need to kind of wait for this to load, activating extension. I don't know why it's taking so long to say that I'm using my account. And this was okay. Let's see now that it's already there. So load an existing map.
One of the other people on the call are saying when they click on create data map, they're getting a blank screen in their system too. So I wonder if they broke something today. Kent probably knew you were doing a demo tonight, so they deployed something new this morning.
I'm about to say that you are right. Because
Have they? Are the talks that you did for the Aviators Day up on YouTube yet?
Yes, I was trying to bring that.
How about if I try to work on that while you're working on that still?
Yeah, thank you, Will. Let me just install it. Logic app. I'm just forcing to install if there is a new extension, or install it again to see if that will work.
Okay, I'm gonna post the link in the comments. So if we can't get this working, you can always go out to YouTube. That's the Aviators Day link.
So let's see now if this will work better. Come on. Why? It wasn't supposed to be source set. That map extension is load. Okay, let's try it again. Fingers crossed. No. Are you loading something? Not really. I don't know what else is going here. Let me see if I can bring this. I was trying to see if there is my. Oh, but this session is not mine. Even I don't know what is my session.
I've got it up to the demo section of that. If you want me to put it up, and then you can talk through it.
Yes, if you can, please,
Okay,
because I don't know what
is
is happening here. Unfortunately, it was working so well until kind of something is stopping, and I don't know why it's not presenting any mapper.
I'm still getting. Okay, hold on a second. Let me try. Present. Share screen. Now I've got the spinning thing there. Okay. Where's it gone? Okay, sorry folks, we're trying to get this video to play, but
I was facing the same issue with, I think it doesn't like StreamYard and YouTube at the same time.
Yeah, okay. So it starts, just to give you everybody a hint, it starts at about 5 hours and 16 minutes into that aviator stay. So, and what we'll do is that is anybody got any other questions at the moment? What we'll do is we'll probably end this, and what we'll do is we'll get that demo. I'll pull that demo down off Aviator's Day and cut that and put that up onto our integration down under site, so that you can go through that demo, because that same demo you were doing today, isn't it, Sandro?
More or less, I was presenting more, but some of them is dead.
If you get the demo working and just do a recording for me and then send, then I can give you a place to put that link, and we can just put that up there with it.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to do probably. Yeah, once I put these, I'm going to. I'm trying to create a new workspace to see if that's the problem. I don't think so. Something that I need to check with Kent probably what is going on. But
every time I try to stream it,
it's working now.
No, every time I put it on the StreamYard, it fails.
Yeah, YouTube and StreamYard doesn't work well together.
No.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to record the last part of the demo, and I will send you, and then you can combine that. Or we can do another one later on next week or so, because this is just
If you do the demo, I can actually pull down the first part of the talk, and I can stitch them together and put it back. So that's not a problem. And Mark is asking, did you say that the mapper doesn't do liquid? That is correct. It doesn't do liquid.
It doesn't do liquid. That's it.
Yeah. And now I was upset to hear that too, Mark, but I don't know, did Kent say that they were looking at doing some liquid support or not?
No, liquid is still support. You can put your liquid map in the
no, but map, I mean the mapper to generate liquid
folder. But it doesn't generate liquid. What it generates is XSLT 3.0.
Okay.
This new data mapper will work with the XSL 3.0 and XPath, I think it's 3.0 also. But it doesn't generate any liquid template. Okay. I don't. To be honest, I don't mind if it's liquid or XPath or XSL. sorry, XSLT, as long as I have a good way and a decent way to transform my message.
Yep.
I like to work with Liquid template in API management, but I find it a little bit annoying also that there isn't any kind of good way to do in the visual transformation. We have to know everything by head, and I'm getting old. I don't want to, to always remind me about the comments that I need to use. All of these, the same of XSLT, no?
Yeah. We did have one other question is, can we, are we going to have functoid support in Logic App Standard?
So functoid's name ends with the old data map. So they call it functions now. It's a function, and it's the same of a functoid. I think that functions nowadays, they are kind of XSLT functions, but you will be able soon to create custom functions to apply in your transformations also. So there is a set of available functions at the moment, like concatenation, datetimes, math operation, loopings, and so on and so forth. And you will be able to generate and create custom functions soon.
The other thing you can do, this for the person that asked, is that you can pull your BizTalk maps with functoids and with your helper assemblies into Logic App Standard now. It supports basically that XSLT and the extension objects now in Logic App Standard. So if you have those existing maps, because I've got a client that's got a bunch of BizTalk helper map helpers that do a lot of date formatting and stuff like that, and I was waiting on that support to be available in the Logic Apps Standard also. So that's there now.
And the existing functionality will stay there. You can still use it. So like we'll say you can export the XSLT and still use it. The problem with that approach, of course, is that if you need to maintain that maps, you need to maintain the XSLT maps. You will not have a visual editor that you can symbol go and play around and understand in a visual way the transformation. It's kind of in the old days also. We can create XSLT, external XSLT, and use inside our maps. So it's still the way. But
so,
yeah, for example, in the BizTalk map, if you use a JSON file, we have to convert that JSON file to XML and then create an XML scheme of the JSON to do transformations. Nowadays, because I told you that it supports XML, so I can have an XML on the system or in the destination, and we can have a JSON schema in the source or destination and then do the transformation. It will work. So let me give a last try on this.
Okay.
My artifacts, maps, schemas are empties. And did I create a map or not? So it creates a map, but the editor is not working.
Yep. So something's. Yep. So what we'll do is, once we can, we'll record this demo part of it, and I'll stitch it together with the first part of this recording, and we'll go from there. So sorry about that, folks, but it's like anything else. It's a preview, and I'm sure that Kent's going to get a call from Sandro shortly. And we'll see what we can do from there. But thanks everyone for attending. And I think that's pretty much, actually, what's Mark got a question, but Azure XML to JSON is, to create a JSON output is better to create a liquid map from XML to JSON. So I don't really understand your question, Mark, but the XML to JSON is, I find that I have to create a JSON output. It is better to create a liquid map from XML to JSON. Yeah.
It's sometimes is well, you can with XSLT you can generate the output that you want. It can be a JSON, it can be a flat file or a text file. There are different formats, different ways. I'm not saying that one is best of the others. Saying that's Microsoft is going to for that direction. That's it. Okay.
Yep. And I think didn't either Slav or Wagner talk about they're thinking about making Logic App support JSON native as opposed to like the XML side of things? Or no, that was the opposite. They were talking about having the Logic App support XML native as opposed to JSON like it is now.
So they are planning. They did a form for getting feedback about what is the type of XML support you want to see inside Logic Apps. And I guess for now, the focus will be in Logic App standard, but assuming that's going to be the standard, is going to be consumption later on. But they are working they are planning in bringing more capabilities of XML into the Logic App world. So for now, for example, if you have a JSON, we can add a JSON schema. We tokenize all the elements, and we can just kind of not drag and drop, but select and configure the actions from that tokens. With XML, we need to convert for JSON, tokenize the JSON, and we still can have the support, but we have to do some workarounds. They are bringing, they are trying to bring a better experience on that because XML is still used often today. So
yep. Okay, I think that's pretty much what we can do today. So thanks everyone for attending, and I will do a Twitter post with the integration down under tag when we get this demo up and uploaded to that there, and then you'll see it on the integration down under site. So thanks everyone for attending tonight, and thanks Sandro for presenting the perils of presenting preview code.
Exactly.
So I'm going to end the broadcast. Thank you guys very much.
See you.